Alright, this is Mike coming back with a part 2 of the Hank Greenberg Playing Days version video. We'll pick up, let's see, we're going to pick up with the pennants from 1936-37. These were made by BF3. I've got 5 of their 7. There's 2 more that are extremely rare that I've never even seen before, but they are cataloged, so they may or may not exist, but I've never seen them. I got the Type 1. And this is the Type 2 batting, and the Type 2 fielding. This is the Type 3, and the Type 7. So I'm still looking for those 2. This is the 1937 O-Pee-Chee A107 Hank, a batter up style for Canada. These are getting really tough to find too. And speaking of tough, these are the 1938 exhibits 4-on-1. I've had this one, the sepia colored one, for a while now, and just recently got the green version on auction. It's probably on one of my earlier videos, probably in the last year, I would say, maybe the last 6 months. I got the sepia and the green, and there may be some more colors. We're not even sure about that. And going over to the heads up, I got from 1938 Gaudi. I got the plain. I've heard this one referred to in different ways. I call it the cartoon version, and that's in the 6. Very nice. And another Wheaties from 1938 Series 11 hand cut. Hank eating breakfast. These are on the back of the Wheaties cereal boxes. Here's another tough one. This is the R303A. And real nice shape. And the 6. This is the standard. This is the R303B sepia. And this is the black and white version of the R303B black and white version. And if you look on the back, you'll see a difference. This is the back of the A. It's a smaller card, much harder to find than the B. That's the way to tell the difference. It's smaller and it's got different directions on how to bat on the back of the card. I've actually seen a couple of these that were the A's that were labeled as B's, just because even the auction or even SGC doesn't aware of them that well. So glad to have all those versions. Let's go over here to the 39 play ball. I got a bunch of these. It comes in 2 different variations. There's small letters, and then there's capital letters. And on the small letters version, there's 2 variations. There's if you look on the 3rd line, it'll say Greenberg will be the one to do it. D-O space I space T. And on the other variation, it says Greenberg will be the one to do it. It's got D-O-I space T. So they changed the typeset at some point. I don't know if there's one's really that much harder than the other, but they are theoretically 2 variations. This one's in a super nice shape, 8.5. This one I just got to get the variation, so I'm not worried about getting a high grade on the second one. And there's a 7. That's the capital letters. And then over here we got this is the samples over here. I've got it's 3 samples I'm going to show. I also got the 7.5. This is in a capital. I don't consider those different cards based on the stamping you will see on the capital letter ones. If you will notice over here, it's almost white in this area. Whereas over here it's darker, and you can see it's got a little bit. I think they just used the dyes until they were started out dark, got lighter and lighter over time, and this one is probably right before it. They had to probably make the new dye, and maybe that's when they did the typesetting errors and such. And then I've got 3 samples. I got the dark and the light. I've actually got a signed sample. And beautiful red ink. Samples were for salesmen, I would assume, showing them what the cards were like. And on the back it says free. For 1 cent you can get these cards. This is a free sample. Same on all of them. This is the first signed sample I've ever seen. With red ink. Beautiful signature. Those are nice. I have some other autographed ones. I always say I'm doing the 39 rainbow. I've got a red ink and a regular. I got a black ink. I got a beautiful blue with that is a period signature. I would say it was signed in probably 1940. Brian and I bought 2 of these cards in an auction. One was a 1940 play ball, one was a 39. Based on the signatures, they looked like they were signed at the same time. And since his was a 40, it was probably signed in 1940. And then he also signed his 39 in 1940. So 2 nice period signatures on them. And I got this in a trade from Brian way back when. And it's got a green ink signature. Green ink is my favorite, of course, with his name being Greenberg. Just a beautiful card. So, love all my 39s. That's probably my favorite all-time issue for Hank. It's a classic portrait. Very nice. Love the 39s. And then going over to Wheaties 1939 Smooth Swing. Off the back of a Wheaties box. And then we'll go over to the exhibits 1339 to 46. This one is signed by Hank. Best regards. And then we got the regular issue, Truly Yours. And the tougher version, the Very Truly Yours. Got those. 1940, we got a 6. These are very hard to find in high grade. And then I got a signed one. And then the 41, I've got 1 and a 7. Beautiful card. And then I got 1 and a 3. These are a little different because the back at the bottom will say copyright 1941. This one just has copyright. They didn't put 41. This one's neat too because it looks like, I don't know if the ink on one that was underneath was still wet and it kind of showed through because it doesn't match up with the obverse. So I'm thinking it was sitting on a card that the ink was not dry, and it kind of pressed in on the card here. Not for sure, but kind of cool. And then I've got the paper version. This is a 1941 play ball paper version. These are very thin. You can actually tilt the card the right way, in the sunlight, you can actually see the writing on the back because it's just paper thin instead of cardboard thin. This had to do with the paper shortage during World War II. There's not as many of these floating around as the regular, of course. And I recently picked up this signed 41 in red ink. Love it. I got 3 more Wheaties. Let's see, this is the 1940s Champs of the USA with Joe Cronin and Byron Nelson. And a similar one with Joe DiMaggio, Hank, and Don Budge. Let's put these all together. This is a 41. This has got Hank, Red Dawson, and J.W. Stoker, whoever that is. Looks like a cowboy of some sort. And we're going to end up on these here. The 1941 double play. The one with Buck Newsom and Hank. And one with Red Roofing and Hank. And I'm laughing because Brian and I and Sean always joke around. This is my least favorite Hank card ever made. Brian loves it for some reason. I can't stand it. It's there. But it's 1943 MP & Co. hand cut. They did come with different backs on them. So I actually had to get 2 of them. But I got them. And then the 1946-47 Cuban issue. These are Propaganda Montel cards. There's an album you can get, like a sticker album, and put these in, which a lot of them were, and they were removed, so you never see them in high grade. This one's actually very nice for 2.5. Now, there is a difference why I have 2 of them is if you look at the border on this one, it's got a kind of an ornate design on it. I don't know if it's vines or flowers or what that is. But if you look at the other one, it's just a solid yellow border. Besides that, the backs are the same. This one's in poor shape, but I don't think you see the solid yellow border is not nearly as plentiful as the other. But actually, you don't see this either one of these anymore. A lot of Hank stuff's dried up, and they just don't come out anymore. And I'm going to end on a pretty tough one here. This is the 1947 Sports Exchange Minis. I don't have the larger ones graded. I'll show those in a future video when I go to the next section. But this is the mini version. They came in a card that had, I can't remember how many players on it, but some people would cut the cards and get these slabbed individually. And these are completely dried up. They're from 1947, like I said, Sports Exchange Minis, and just not very plentiful anymore. So I was happy to get that when I did. So that is the bulk of the Playing Days Hank Greenberg collection. I am missing a few things that I may not have mentioned. The 2 pennants, and let's see here. I'm missing a Wheaties. There's a Michigan Sports Service card and a couple others, but this is the bulk of it. One day I'll go over the cards that I don't have, so we can show you or I can show you how tough they are. I hope you enjoyed it. It was nice getting them all out. The ones I gotta send back to the bank, I will get them put away, but it's nice to have them all laid out. I don't get that opportunity very much anymore. And bringing them back and forth from the bank is a pain in the butt, but I thought it'd be fun to put them all out one time. Thank you very much, and you all take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.